Video games. The modern person's escape from the cesspool that we call reality. They've been around for quite a while now. Sprung from a simple game of tennis for two, games have evolved well beyond what we thought was possible. From some of the old-time classics like Minecraft, Halo, Mario and Sonic, Mortal Kombat and Resident Evil, to more recent releases like Ghost of Tsushima, Elden Ring, and Fortnite. There's literally so many games out there that anyone can pick one up and enjoy it. But with such a wide variety of games of all different shapes and sizes comes a question bound to be asked. In the vast sea of video game entertainment, which is the best? Well, I don't know. The way I see it, there are two ways of looking at this. The subjective way, that'll have me looking like John Wick in his second movie poster by the time I open my mouth, and the objective way, which I personally see as way more boring, but I'll mention it briefly at the end. In case you were wondering, now is the time to grab out your pitchforks, because I've got an opinion, and I'm gonna share it. Answering this question the subjective way will be a challenge, because there are literally so many factors that go into this that finding just one game is virtually impossible. But in order to keep it somewhat consistent, I've based my answer off of three categories. 1, the price. If a game will result in you selling your children to the black market in order to buy it, I don't think it's very good. 2, the content. If you're able to 100% a game quicker than it takes to boot it up, I don't think that's a very good look on the game itself either. And 3, bias. Look, it's literally impossible for me not to have a bias. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to play every game in existence, so at the end of the day, I'll probably prefer a game I've actually played to a game that I haven't. So if your favorite game isn't my answer, for both our sakes, just assume I haven't played it. Now that that's out of the way, my favorite game of all time is... For Honor! On the surface, Terraria seems like a simplistic sandbox game. I mean, from all the descriptions floating around online, you would think it's basically just a 2D version of Minecraft, but that couldn't be further from the truth. From the moment you set foot on your world, you already have multiple different routes you can go into to begin your adventure. You can start by building houses for your NPCs, mining in caves, exploring the environment, or hunting mobs for money which you can use to exchange with said NPCs. The goal of the game is to defeat the Moon Lord, who you reach upon defeating a series of bosses that get progressively more difficult as the game goes on. I use the word goal loosely because this is a sandbox game and your goal can literally be anything you want, but I digress. In order to defeat these bosses, you need to farm up materials and items to make your character stronger, which is where the fun begins. There are so many weapons and armor sets in this game which you can use to build up your character, each tailored towards a certain class. You have 4 primary classes you can build towards in this game. The melee class, which is for those who want to get up close and personal with enemies, tanking any attacks thrown their way. The ranger class, who uses projectile weapons like bows and guns in order to deal devastating damage and apply debuffs depending on the ammunition that's used. The mage, who uses mana to cast spells that have different properties and applied effects, usually resulting in death. And summoner. According to the very accurate data I gathered from credible sources such as Google AI and Reddit, there are 371 unique enemies you can find in Terraria, each dropping unique items and materials that you can use to craft literal thousands of items. The amount of content this game has to offer is so ludicrous. I have hundreds of hours spent playing this game and still haven't done everything. And although I know this is technically cheating, Terraria also has an expansive list of mods you can download via Tmod Loader that can add potentially Terraria 2 to your game, with there being hundreds of unique mods you can download. And unlike a lot of games that include mods, the official developers of Terraria, Relogic, actually endorse it. So I don't care what you say, I'm counting this as a win. You want to know the best part? All of this content, including the mods, because those are free obviously, all come down to the price of 1450 AUD. To put that into perspective, 1450 AUD in USD is like probably a pretty small number. The amount of bang for your buck you get from this game is insane. The way I see it, Terraria is one of those games that just seem too good to be true. For the amount of content provided and the sheer number of things you can do in this game, it's hard for me not to see it as one of, if not the greatest game ever made. Of course, like I said before, I haven't played every game. Are there games out there that are better? Maybe. I sure as hell haven't found any yet. But if there are, and you think I'm way off the ball, tell me what you think. Oh, and before I forget, the best game ever made objectively is Candy Crush. I mean, do you see this shit?
Capture those zones, stop that ram, and clear that minion lane.